Something's happening in our president's administration with the whole Russia peace plan, and it's turning into a bit of an internal bloodbath. Long story short, there was a 28-point peace plan that was circulated by our president's administration, or it was supposedly leaked, and the details were pretty gruesome for the Ukrainians. Of course, the Donbass and Luhansk would be given to Russia, but Ukraine's autonomy would be respected. It was a complete and total joke, and of course, Ukraine rejected it. The EU absolutely rejected it, even though America said, oh, yeah, this is our baby. This is exactly what we're doing. And because of this very harsh blowback from Republicans in Congress, our current administration is saying, oh, well, no, this actually wasn't our president's plan. It was just talking points offered by Russia. This is just a Russian wish list. But then Secretary of State Marco Rubio, just over an hour and a half ago, said, no, the peace proposal was authored by the United States. It was offered as a strong framework for ongoing negotiations based on input from the Russian side. So yeah, it looks like the White House is once again reeling from complete and total idiocy and incompetence. But in all seriousness, none of that really matters. If you want to find out what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, or how Ukraine is doing versus Russia, you just need to look at the price of Russian oil. And as we could see, the new sanctions have sent Russian oil prices plummeting to their lowest level since 2023. In fact, they are $23 below Brent crude oil. And right now, Brent crude oil is about $61.79 a barrel. So Russians are now selling their oil at about $38 a barrel, despite the official figures for Russian Urals being sold at 55. Because remember, Russia is selling their oil at a cheap discount to China and India, especially now because Saudi Arabia has also been selling their oil at a discount. This is on top of the Russian central bank discovering a 10 trillion ruble time bomb in the bank's balance sheets, meaning they are not eventually going to be able to pay not just Russian soldiers, but the Russian people. If you're curious about how much 10 trillion rubles is, that's about $120 billion in Russian currency. And while all of this is happening, the Russian central bank is now selling their physical gold from reserves to help prepare, or at least mitigate the damage of this time bomb. And another major point you guys have to keep in mind is that Russia is a major oil producer. Usually when a major oil producing country is getting heavily attacked like they are by Ukraine, the price of oil skyrockets. But like I've said, the price of Brent crude is below $62 a barrel. So all the disaster that is happening to the Russian revenue stream in every way, shape, and form, it seems like the world is prepared for it. They're ready to deal with it. And because so much oil is still flooding the markets, they're able to deal with any shortage of oil due to Russia being bombed by Ukraine. The reason why I keep mentioning this is because the media keeps telling the world that Russia has us over some kind of barrel when that isn't the case. The United States is in fact still protecting Russia from the full onslaught of a Ukraine assisted by NATO. And that is a fact. Unfortunately for Russia, Ukraine is taking off those protections as they are developing their own technologies, such as the Flamingo missiles, which can go up to 1,500 miles into Russian territory, which is why we are seeing Crimea start to lose their air defenses, at least on the Russian side. If you just look at the trend over the past 11 months, at least since January of this year, it looked like our president was going to give everything to Vladimir Putin, but just look at how things have gotten so much worse for Russia and Russians. Let me know what you guys think and whether or not you think the 28-point peace plan was actually the work of just Russia. Thanks for watching.